To a faithful of a different kind at the Labor caucus. Look at them cheering Anthony Albanese. He's just arrived, and 91 seats thus far. Likely a few more to come. Rebecca White, the former opposition leader in Tasmania, a new addition. Anne Urquhart, the new member for Braddon, northwest Tassie. So a couple of Tasmanians up the front. Let's go live to the caucus now.
I'm back at Canterbury Helston Park. That was a bit loose on Saturday night, I've got to say. I think most of my electorate were there on that journey. Can I begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. What a room. And for those of you who are new, welcome. And your objective should be really clear, which is to continue to earn the right to sit in this room at this end of this corridor, because this is where decisions are made that actually make a difference to the country. You need to be in government to make a difference. And I have spoken in this room now for 3 years, but for 3 years in the other room as well. And as the leader of the Labor Party, it's just an incredible honour for me. And it's one I certainly don't take for granted when I look at the 21 leaders who are up on that room. And as Australia's 31st Prime Minister, it is an incredible honour. We don't seek power for its own sake, not to decide who's in what part of the building. We seek power in order to deliver for the people who need Labor to be in government and to develop a better nation. That's our objective each and every day. So on Saturday night, I was incredibly humbled to receive the support that we got on the 3rd of May. It is just over 125 years, was yesterday, the commemoration of the first Labor caucus. And the Labor caucus met on the 8th of May 1901. Met in Melbourne, of course, at that time, before the national capital, the wonderful great city of Canberra is at least 4 supporters. But everyone, you will enjoy living in this great city. It's Australia's largest inland city. It matters. And I think the sort of, frankly, juvenile anti-Canberra rhetoric that we saw from the coalition really hurt them during this campaign. It really did. And on that first caucus, there were 22 people. And guess what they had in common? They were all blokes. Every one of them, and it was a very narrow picture even then of what Australia was. I look around this room and I see a representative group, a majority of women, up to, we're still counting, of course, but at least 57% women in this room. But I also see people of different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different experiences, different faiths. I see a diverse group of people that are truly representative of our nation. And that's what our parliament should be, because we seek to represent the entire nation. When I became Labor leader in my first speech at the Sydney CPO, said that I thought that Labor should be the natural party of government. That has always been my view. A political party that has grown from working people, arising from the trade union movement, but one that reaches out to the business community and understands that you need a successful private sector to generate growth and economic activity and jobs. One that also is engaged with civil society, one that is prepared to modernise as Australia modernises and changes as well. Political parties need to move with the future rather than resisting it, and resisting it in a way which ends up being you just represent an Australia that is no longer there. And I think this campaign, we did that. I said that we had a three-part strategy. One was to defend our legacy, the work that we had done on getting inflation down, maintaining strong employment growth, looking after people, not leaving people behind, but not holding people back either, governing through what were very turbulent global times and achieving outcomes that are the envy of the world. But we also understood that there are people who continue to be doing it tough, and that the job is certainly not done. We need to continue to put that downward pressure on inflation while at the same time getting wages up, whilst maintaining strong employment growth, whilst making sure we look after people on the way through. That's our historic task as the Labor Party. If we do that, if we implement the positive agenda that we took to the election, you know, a positive agenda that had Labor as the party of lower taxation, the Liberal Party promising an income tax increase at the election, Labor promising to strengthen Medicare, the Liberals just being half-hearted at best, but we know being out there saying they weren't sure if urgent care clinics would stay as being available just with Medicare. Labor Party is the party of aspiration and supporting the dream that Australians hold legitimately to own their own home, with our 5% deposits, with our housing reserve for first homeowners, with our comprehensive plan for more social homes, more rental private properties, but also more home ownership across the board. Our comprehensive $43 billion Homes for Australia plan that we will now set about implementing. Our plan for a future made in Australia, making more things, understanding the importance of economic resilience, the lesson of the pandemics, that we're vulnerable if we're at the end of supply chains, seizing the opportunity that is there from the transition to a clean energy economy. This is the biggest economic transformation since the Industrial Revolution, and there's no country you'd rather be than Australia, with the resources that we have up in the sky, the resources under the ground, with the entire periodic table available to us, and the space that we have in this country to transform industries so that we're producing green steel and green aluminium, so that we're reducing our emissions but creating jobs in manufacturing on the way through. That is important. That is the opportunity that we have as we transition to net zero. The relationships with the world as well, on defence and foreign affairs, that we invest in our national security. We don't pick a figure without knowing what you're going to build. We actually give the resources that we need to defend this country, but we also invest in our relationships. And I must say, in the conversations that I've had in recent days with our traditional partners, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, or with President Macron and other European leaders, Prime Minister Sanchez of Spain, leaders in our region, Prime Minister Luxon, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim of Malaysia, Lawrence Wong of Singapore, President Prabowo, who I'll visit next week in Indonesia, Prime Minister Modi in India, the Prime Ministers of all of the regions, Vietnam, Thailand, etc. It's been a busy time to engage. And I must say as well, the warm congratulations I received last night in a long conversation with His Majesty the King as well is important. It's important that Australia's standing in the world, which we have repaired in the 3 years in which we've been in office, that we continue to punch above our weight, that we continue to be a beacon which shows that we want a strong economy, but we want a strong economy so that our people prosper and we lift living standards and we look after people and we look after opportunity as well going forward. The first piece of legislation that we will introduce into the new Parliament is the one for the 20% reduction in student debt. Now, I think that's important, not just in itself, but for what it says about our commitment to intergenerational equity. Young people deserve a fair crack, and we want to look after them. We understand that it's much harder in so many areas, and as technology changes, the nature of work changes. I mean, I finished my HSC, I think I did my last exam on a Thursday, and I started work at the Commonwealth Bank the following Monday, having done an exam and having done all of that. And if you had have asked me back then, would I be here, I would have said no, I'll be still working at the Commonwealth Bank in 30 years' time, because it was seen to be a secure job. One of the things that we have to understand and get to grip with as a government is the fact that the world is so fast and moving. The nature of jobs and employment is changing. We need to make sure that people, young people in particular, feel more secure going forward, that we look after them, that we understand the opportunities that are there from new technology, from AI, from all of these developments, and make sure they're shaped in the interests of people, not the other way around. And if we do that, then that can make an enormous difference. The world-leading legislation that we've had to ban social media for under 16s has now been mirrored across the ditch in New Zealand. And the discussions I've had show that Australia can lead the world in progressive legislation dealing with these new challenges which are there that we need to engage with. Making sure as well that just as the nature of work has changed, how do we make people feel more secure? Part of that is lifting wages and conditions, and that's been an important part of the legislation that we've put forward. And it's had a result. We've got real wages increasing 5 quarters in a row. It was going backwards before we came to office, and that has been important. But we will need to continue to invest in our people, our greatest asset, skills and smarts of our people going forward, making sure, because people won't go into jobs thinking they'll be there for decades. There'll be a range of careers that people have as the economy and society changes ever more faster as we go ahead. So I think that we come to this caucus room today, the government caucus room, and I do want to express a shout out to one group of people who I wasn't with earlier today. The group of people I was with earlier today were the new members that I welcomed, and that was quite exciting and fantastic, and it was great to be campaigning with you. But I make this point as well, that the people who've sat in this caucus previously and who sat in the room down there gave me extraordinary support and confidence. I was never looking behind, always looking forward. And I repeated the message a number of times in this room of the importance of unity, of not getting ahead of ourselves, of being focused, not on ourselves, because I've seen that happen too. We know where that ends. Focus out on the Australian people, on the people who voted for us. That's got to be our focus each and every day. How do we improve their lives? How do we make a positive difference for them, for those families, many of whom backed Labor for the first time in their lives, some of whom came back to us. I said in this room multiple times, without the media here, that I was very confident of achieving a majority government. I was confident because I was out there talking with people, engaging with people, and I knew that we had a plan. We had a plan for 2025 and working back from polling day, and we executed that plan. Many of some of the legislation in that plan we got through a little bit quicker than we anticipated, such as tax cuts and other things that are done. But going forward, we need that same discipline, the same unity, the same sense of purpose, the same making sure there's no overreach. We have a mandate for what we took to the Australian people. That is our mandate, and we'll continue to engage across the board with the Labor movement, with the business community, with and make sure no one should leave their phone on in the course. It's all the selfies we're taking before. Thank you. Well, I haven't been re-elected leader yet, so we'll see how that goes. But can I just thank both the caucus members who are here and the candidates who've come here. The campaigning that you did, the support that you showed me personally as a leader, gave me the confidence. My commitment when we were ready to go from here in March after we handed down the budget at the budget caucus meeting was that no one would work harder than me to get us across the line. I assure you that I feel as though that was the case. But what I know is that people in this room worked just as hard as I did. And what I know that's perhaps of more significance is that there are people who will never sit in this room, who don't want to sit in this room, who ask for nothing, except our commitment to do our best, to work hard, to be principled, to make sure that we continue to sit in this room. We stand on the shoulders of the volunteers, the loved ones, the people who work so hard for us, the people who really, really need a Labor government, who will always be, you know, if the other mob get the Treasury benches, it makes a difference to people's lives. And that's my ask of you, my final ask of you, is that over the next 3 years, we remain laser-like focused on them, on the people who voted for us, but the people who didn't too, the people we want to see lifted up and given an opportunity. You know, the people who need health care, the people who need our Better and Fairer Schools funding agreement. That would have got washed away, no question about that. The people who need access to free TAFE, the people who need the NDIS to function properly and to fully participate in our society and contribute. The people in multicultural Australia who need to be respected and recognising that there has been, some a rise in division in our society. We are the inclusive party. We're the party for all. We're the party who recognise as well that until we can look at people's postcode and not say that means something, then our task is not done. Until we close the gap between Indigenous Australians and non-Indigenous Australians, our work is not done. It's a really practical task that we have. I'm so confident that we're able to do so. This is a historic victory. This far exceeds what some of the pundits thought would occur. It's what it might be. Have exceeded some of what you thought some people in this room would occur as well. But if the Labor Party is focused, if the Labor Party is united, if the Labor Party is always thinking not about the people in the room, but the people outside of the room, whether it be in workplaces or anywhere in Australian society, then there is no reason at all why not only can everyone return here after the next election in 2028, but that more people can't be elected with Labor next to their name as well. I said before the caucus, I do talk to the media sometimes, and for people who are like, oh, you've written off X seat, Y seat, I was like, no, we haven't. No, we haven't. And you could feel it out there as well, the positive reception and, the confidence that I've got in lifting me up as well. When this young woman here agreed to go from the Senate, where she wasn't up for election, and I did badger her, just said to me, well, yep, thank you. So thank you, Anne, for what was... Yeah, so when we think about our contribution and think about selflessness, that was an incredibly selfless thing to do, for Anne to do that. But all of you have made sacrifices as well, but it'll be worth it. Last thing is, enjoy. This is a great privilege to be either a member of the House of Representatives or the Senate, and enjoy. Parliament will come back, tentative date, so the end of July. We're still counting. Ballots. We haven't written off any held seat, and we'll wait and see what happens. Unbelievable. Why aren't you watching? You'd think ABC 24 and Sky would be covering this, but anyway. So the viewers at home, stop ringing. Thanks very much.